I'm in the world, but not of it. I praise God every day and I love it. I say what I want and I say what they want. I stand for the truth and what's right and they don't. Life is simple, it's no puzzle. Common sense will tell you not to wear a muzzle. Fear no evil, trust no people. When in doubt, shout, I'm a believer. I fear no man, though the world is broken. God, shine your light on me. I fear no man, though the world is broken. God, shine your light on me.
I offend everybody, the left, right, in the middle. Blame my parents because I've been this way since I was little. It used to be normal, now everybody praying to crystals. No wonder why it's so easy for the devil to trick you. They treat you like dogs, hitting muzzles all on your faces, forcing kids to wear them in schools. Doesn't this seem outrageous? They ban Bible scriptures on TikTok.
Let's go to Target! Let's go to Target! Need some PlayStations! Let's go to Target!
I'm in the world, but not of it. I praise God every day and I love it. I say what I want and I say what they want. I stand for the truth and what's right and they don't. Life is simple, it's no puzzle. Common sense will tell you not to wear a muzzle. Fear no evil, trust no people. When in doubt, shout, I'm a believer. I fear no man, though the world is broken. God, shine your light on me. I fear no man, though the world is broken. God, shine your light on me.
I offend everybody, the left, right, in the middle. Blame my parents because I've been this way since I was little. It used to be normal, now everybody praying to crystals. No wonder why it's so easy for the devil to trick you. They treat you like dogs, hitting muzzles all on your faces, forcing kids to wear them in schools. Doesn't this seem outrageous? They ban Bible scriptures on TikTok.
Let's go to Target! Let's go to Target! Need some PlayStations! Let's go to Target!
All right. What's up, everybody? Sound effects. I got sound effects too. It's Monday night, kicking the week off right. Dreadedconservative show. Lots of stuff. Let's just get into it. What are we talking about today? We're talking about Whtehouse shooting, Mosque shooting, early in the week. Should do the Mosque shooting first because it's the earliest story. But we're going to start based off of importance because the Whtehouse shooting is more recent. So we're going to look at that. Then we'll look at the Mosque shooting from earlier in the week. Then a little bit on the Massie loss and the reaction to that and how everybody's freaking out over some guy from Kentucky that I didn't know about until, over the past 3 years. So that's all the main story news. And there's a bunch of other little stories in the rapid fire. We're going to look at this mask guy, CIA mask guy on Fox. Dun, dun, dun. I don't have that sound effect. I got that one, though. And then what else? Oh, we're going to finish talking about the tick bombs. Deep dive into the tick bombs. Watching some videos. What is this called? Alpha Gal? The virus that comes from the ticks that makes it so you're allergic to red meat. They're turning the men beta. They're turning the men gay. They're turning the frogs gay. They're turning the men gay. You can't eat red meat if you get this tick. I don't want that. I don't want no business with that. So that's the plan for tonight. We're going to get conspiratorial. Bill Gates making a gay meat allergy bug and releasing it on the world. Releasing it on American farm owners. Can't be having that. We'll start with the White House shooting. Another one. What's up, producer? If there's any that they're gonna say like seemed a little like set up or weird, it's this one. Dude didn't even get close. Like, what do? You just running at the gates of the White House with a shooting with a gun in your hand at Secret Service? You think you're gonna get inside? No. And there just so happens to be all these reporters on the lawn who all do a live react. They're like, I'll play those videos of all the reporters at the same time start hearing pop, 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 pop. What? Duck. There's nothing to duck behind. We're in the middle of the lawn. Run, do something. I don't know. It's weird. CBS News says gunman killed after opening fire on Secret Service checkpoint outside White House, officials say. And I think just a bystander was injured. And then the shooter was deadified. He was liquefied on the lawn of the White House. The gunman was killed after opening fire on a U.S. Secret Service checkpoint near the White House Saturday evening, officials said. Secret Service officers returned fire, hitting the suspect, who later died at the hospital. A bystander was also wounded. President Trump was at the White House during the incident, so it's not one of these ones where some would-be assassin runs up on the gates and Trump's in Mar-a-Lago and they try to run up on the White House. They have no idea where he's at, which is a sign to me that it's some fake thing, because an assassin is going to be more helped out. You know, assassins succeed because they get help. The good ones. The three namers. President Trump, I wonder if they're going to give this guy three names. President Trump, blah, blah, blah. Suspect was identified by a person familiar with the investigation as 21-year-old Nasir Best. Nasir Best? Best? Just Best? They say he was the best. I don't think he was the best. They called him Best. More like worst to me. Tips are insane, always trying to do damage. This is true. Nasir Best, according to the source, Best had a previous run-in with Secret Service in July 2025 in which he tried to gain entry to the White House and was arrested and sent to a psychiatric ward for mental health issues. Wow. So this guy's already tried to do this once. He goes to a psych ward and then you just release him and keep an eye on him. And then he tries it again. I don't think this person's a Democrat. I think this person's a mentally retarded zombie. And I don't know what they did to him at that psychiatric ward. We heard you, some people in suits come in. We heard you were trying to kill the president. Here, let us give you some ideas for next time. Let us play this video with this dolphin while we strap you into a chair and put drops in your eyes and flashy strobe lights and crazy sound effects for the next 26 hours straight. That way, next time, you'll be able to get him. Shooting occurred out, and give you some LSD too. You got to get the LSD in there. The shooting occurred outside the White House at 17th Street and Pennsylvania Avenue Northwest, near the Eisenhower Executive Office Building. Approximately 15 to 30 gunshots were fired. Law enforcement sources told CBS News. Multiple CBS News report. How did the dude that actually ran up to the dinner not get shot? How did he get taken alive? He's alive. He's alive, right? They got him. They got him. Yeah, they're gonna say he's not fit to stand trial. I won't be surprised if that happens. That's what they're doing with Irina Zarutska. I had that something about her in Rapid Fire. We haven't really talked about that. That homeboy, they're saying he's not fit to stand trial. Shocker. Anyway, I digress. Multiple CBS News reporters who were on the White House North Lawn said they heard what's... I already read that, I think. Okay. I got videos and stuff. Let me see what I got. These are the reactions that we played this on the Saturday night stream and watched it. Me and Goon were laughing at it. But if you weren't here for that, here's a quick little recap of all the reporters' responses. Or should I play the... Hold on one second. Can I make this bigger?
See some of them start to roam the north lawn of the White House today. But this obviously comes just a couple of weeks after a shooting at the White House Correspondents' Dinner.
That's right, Aaron. The White House Correspondents' Dinner, there have been a number of attempts, obviously, on the president's...
This guy was on the lawn when it happened. But this is just giving them coverage of what it was.
I know there's been a big concern with some of the security concerns. But Aaron Navarro at the White House will, of course, come back to you if we get any more information.
Okay, here's where they all start freaking out. Here's the first lady, NBC reporter. Oh my God. What do you think it is? Could you imagine just a stray live TV? But that would be horrible. What is that?
Sounds like fireworks.
Sounds like what? Sounds like fireworks?
What is that?
Sounds like fireworks.
The worst last words of any American. Sounds like fireworks.
That was about 20.
Out.
Everyone to the press briefing room right now.
Press briefing room now.
Okay? Yeah.
Was it gunshots?
I don't know.
Here we go, here we go.
Get her.
Come on, come on, come on. Are we okay?
Clueless, oblivious NBC News reporter mocked for bizarre reaction. Look at this guy. The funniest is the
It's
Asian
2022.
one. The other Asian one. There's another Asian lady.
President Trump promises the prices will go down, but his grip on Republican support on Capitol Hill is weakening.
He knows. He like, that is not firework. I know. I heard this in war times in my home. Nani?
There's shots fired. You have to get down. Shots. There are shots fired. You are going down.
Yeah, we might do that. We'll talk to you. Go down. Okay.
I'm here.
Then they're all running across the White House, the lawn. Wild. No video of the shooting though. I mean, I haven't seen this one yet. These ones we all watched the other night, but I haven't seen this one yet. But no, I haven't seen video of the actual like shooting. There's no I don't know. There's cameras all up and down Pennsylvania Avenue, I'm sure. Except for when there's you know, a missile flies into the Pentagon, then there's no camera footage. I mean, a plane.
São de tiros.
What'd she just say? I need some Cheetos? Drop your microphone.
Som de tiros.
Some the Cheetos. I'm not going to pick it up for you.
Eu acabo de ouvir tiro. Okay, okay, okay. Okay, okay, I'm understanding. I'm just trying to record.
Get out of the way. Hey, inside. Out of the door. Inside.
Okay, sir, we are journalists. I'm so sorry. We are journalists. We're just trying to record. I understand, sir. I understand.
Get the fuck inside!
Okay, sir, I understand.
I was gonna go to GW, but it's too late to get the body or anything.
See, so that's where it happened. Where's this camera angle the whole time? Seesaw. I want to film. I'm just trying to film. Who are you, bitch? Get inside.
That's the thing, so when we got the list, I was in the middle of ordering, so I ordered like
The gun violence in Washington, D.C. Gun violence. I'm a British reporter. Let me tell you about gun violence. It's where guns just randomly start committing violence. It's crazy in America. Well, I didn't mean to play that. Where is this one?
We begin this morning.
Is this the one with where's the one with the other lady's reaction? Here's CNN's details on the event.
With the man who was killed after shooting near the White House. The bystander was also shot and is in critical condition.
He'd be called a white nationalist, but he's black.
An eyewitness captured the sounds of the rapid-fired gunshots there. The Secret Service says it happened near a security checkpoint. The president was at the residence. The White House was immediately placed on lockdown and officers were mobilized. The tense moment of journalists on White House grounds reacting to the threat was also caught on camera.
That President Trump has said a deal is close, only for the two sides to remain far apart.
See, her reaction was the weirdest. It took her a little while. She's hearing it, and then it was just awkward. It seemed weird.
Close, only for the two sides to remain far apart.
That was ABC's Selena Wang. Now, the correspondent was recording a social media video when she heard those shots. She ducked for cover, as you saw.
Julia Binbrook is standing by. Julia, you were there. You had just finished doing a live shot for us when all of this happened. Walk everyone through what you heard, what you saw, and what we're hearing about.
Great. The only people that were there to talk about it are the press.
Only for the two sides to remain far apart.
Okay. All right. Enough on that. I mean, not enough of the video. It's all, there was no just normal people there to talk about it, I guess. A bystander who was struck by gunfire after a man fired on a checkpoint outside the White House and was fatally shot by the U.S. Secret Service officers remained in serious but stable condition Sunday. Secret Service said the bystander, who has not been identified, suffered a gunshot wound described as not life-threatening, but it was not clear how he was shot. Authorities have released a few additional details about the early Saturday evening shooting. The District of Columbia Metropolitan Police Department said the suspect, identified as 21-year-old Nasir Best, started shooting toward the White House security checkpoint when Secret Service officers returned fire. Best of Dundalk, Maryland, was later pronounced dead at a hospital. No officers were injured. Secret Service Director Sean Curran Sean Caron, said in a statement posted on social media, "Our thoughts are also with the innocent bystander who was wounded during this incident," Caron said. Secret Service is hopeful we will make a full recovery. What do we know about this Nasir Best guy? Anything? Here's where NBC News is, doing the typical, gotta portray it as either gun violence or radical far right nationalist shooter. And they don't include a picture of the shooter. The shooting at the White House on Saturday evening is just the latest act of political violence carried out in President Donald Trump's orbit in recent weeks. That's an interesting way to put it. Shootings are just happening in his orbit. Orbit is like people who are drawn to you and people who follow you. This is not his orbit. His anti-Trump people. Comes less than a month after a man opened fire outside the ballroom where Trump and members of his cabinet and numerous government officials were attending the White House Correspondents Association dinner. An attack that highlighted a string of attempted security breaches and raised concerns around the safety of the president. On Saturday, U.S. Secret Service agents fatally shot a 21-year-old man. I want to find out more about this guy. Hours after the incident, Trump said in a post on Truth, the shooting was another sign the White House needed a safe and secure place, such as the ballroom. Take a little chance to plug the ballroom. Let's go. Trump is a genius. Just like the Democrats, we don't let any catastrophe go to waste. The deepest fears. Oh, this is the Mosque shooting. So are we ready to go to the Mosque shooting yet? It's only been 30 minutes. That's fine. I don't know. I want to know more about this Nasir Best guy, but I don't have. Let me see. Let me see what's come out. What we know so far. Doondog native. Who is Nasir Best? Here's what we know about the man from WJA, ABC 7 News. I thought I had this article in here. Who is Nasir Best? Here's what we know about the man killed in shootout with Secret Service. Been identified, 21-year-old. Investigator said he approached agents. Officers returned fire. Not his first encounter with the White House, so we talked about that already. He'd been arrested before for doing. He didn't have a gun the first time, I guess, so they didn't take it that seriously. Allegedly, I don't know. That was not the only occasion Best was encountered near the White House, according to a report from CNN. Records show Best was known to the Secret Service for walking around the White House complex, inquiring how to gain access at various entry points. Splinter Cell. What is this guy? Who's he think he is? Snake? What's the dude? Is Snake from Metal Gear Solid? The report reads he was involuntarily committed on June 26, 2025 for obstructing vehicle entry. So this guy's just a normal crazy person that walks around the White House and tries to get into it and asks how to get into it. And then somehow he just happened to come along a gun. Or somebody gave him a gun. That's what I want to know. What if this is just some crazy homeless crackhead that's always walking around there being a weirdo? Where'd he get the gun? All these other times that he's been caught doing this, he never had a weapon. CNN found social media belonging to Best that appears to threaten violence against President Donald Trump, and another post where he wrote, "I'm actually the son of God." Oh, okay. Wow. So I just saw a thing on Long Crime the other day about the FBI showed up and arrested this white kid for posting a bunch of crazy stuff on social media. Now, the stuff he was posting I think he deserved to be arrested. He was talking about doing mass shootings and Jays need to die and women need to die. And he's talking about how he's a fan of Elliot Rodger and idolizing these shooters. And people like this is a typical theme amongst shooters. They usually are big fans of other shooters before they do it. So when you know this person's on social media, they're talking about doing it. They're making the same kind of posts that all these 764 members and all these Gore fans and CP traders and whacked out crazy people on the internet who tend to gather in these circles, and they idolize each other and they go on these forums. You're making those social media posts. They're arresting people. Now you could say freedom of speech, blah, blah. Yeah, but not when you're threatening violence. And so anyway, they get the white kid. The FBI gets him on long crime. What about this guy in DC, constantly circling the White House? Why has he not been scooped up by the FBI yet if he's online making these threats and he has a history? Why is this guy walking around with a gun? How did he get a gun? That's what I want to know. And I'm not saying gun violence, we shouldn't have guns, blah, blah, blah. I'm just saying somebody gave this guy a gun. He didn't, or he just conveniently found it. That means somebody left it for him. Doesn't seem like the type of guy that could buy one in DC. So I don't know. If you've seen the movie Rubber, anything is possible. No, I haven't. I don't know what that is. Is it something weird? Did I just read something weird? Anyway, so they're not telling us about him. And it's interesting that when I go on ABC News and I say, who is Nasir Best? Okay, I want to learn about this shooter. And there's no picture of him. Why is there no picture of him? That's odd. Maybe there's hold on, let me be good faith to the internet here. I know there's pictures of him. There's a picture of him. So Times, Facebook, but none of the mainstream, none of the NBC, CBS, CNN are posting pictures of him. The Times is posting a picture of him. Here it is. He black. Young 21-year-old kid. The blacks are not typically the assassin type. So this is just a crazy guy who's had these ideas in his head about attacking the White House, and he's tried doing it. He's posting on social media about it, but he's black. We can't arrest him. But they'll track down some white kids posting on a 4chan group from states away and have the FBI roll up at their house. Meanwhile, this guy's just multiple times allowed to try to get into the White House. It's crazy. All right, Nasir. Well, ain't no sense praying for Nasir no more. He gone. He gone. No, wait. He gone. Sorry, Nasir. You failed. And for that, you get loser of the day. You are the loser this week. Loser of the week. All right, enough of that. Now let's get on to the Mosque shooting. This happened earlier in the week. This happened like last Monday, and I think I hadn't prepared it, so I barely touched on it in last week's show, which is fine. Let it develop a little bit. Make sure I can get the facts straight and all that. But San Diego, and I thought this was a synagogue that got shot, but it was a mosque. They're like, this is the far right anti-Muslim sentiment. These crazy right-wingers are shooting up all the mosques now. Okay. The deepest fears, this is from NBC, the deepest fears of San Diego's religious communities were realized in Islamic Center shooting. The deaths of 3 people hailed as heroes at the Islamic Center of San Diego underscored the threats facing mosques and other houses of worship. And we got some sad ladies with hijabs on. Gotta pull at the heartstrings. You know, bunch of sad ladies. Mosque members embrace in the parking lot of the Islamic Center in San Diego on Tuesday. 3 people were killed and 2 suspects were dead. 2 suspects after a shooting at San Diego's largest mosque. Now they're saying that they're neo-Nazis and they have Swazis tatted on them, which is probably true. I mean, I wouldn't be surprised if some crazy right-wing guys did this. Far right people did something like this. Just because we say the left is more violent doesn't mean the right doesn't also do violence. So I'm not going to sit here and be like, no, there's never been a right-wing person that would do something crazy. Because that's not true. As an elementary school student at the Islamic Center of San Diego in the early aughts. Early aughts? What's that mean? Sarah Yusuf said she doesn't remember guards being on patrol or gates keeping out danger. But Yusuf, now a college freshman who leads a local gun violence prevention group, gotta keep those guns. Isn't it convenient? They got a gun violence prevention spokesperson to talk on this issue. Said she remembers when the center hired Amin Abdullah to guard the facility. Many were comforted by his presence, but also concerned about what it signified. Years later, community members and Abdullah's deepest fears came to pass. 2 shooters attempted to storm the Islamic Center this week. Along with Abdullah, Mansour Kazaiha, who managed the center's store, and community member Nadir Awad thwarted their attack, but sacrificed themselves. Their quick actions on Monday were praised as sheer heroism that may have saved dozens of lives, with about 140 children and teachers within the center's walls. But their deaths also underscored the threats facing mosques and other houses of worship, with the hate rhetoric intensified across the world and keenly felt this week in San Diego. Yusuf said it was unimaginable that one of the shooters lived within blocks of the center and had such a brainwashed idea of what this religion was. I wonder what See, we're going to get everything about these shooters. They're going to tell us everything. They're going to have their journals, their diaries. Meanwhile, the Nasir guy, it's difficult to find a picture of him. But I don't see pictures of these guys either, so that's fair. This is a much longer article. The one on the Whtehouse shooting had very little information. This one, we got like a 4-page dissertation written here. San Diego is no stranger to hate crimes. That's made up. Hate crimes. San Diego is no stranger to hate crimes, but we are very familiar with love crimes. We get a lot of love crimes in San Diego. Not a lot. And we get hate crimes, but we definitely prefer the love crimes. While the city reported it saw a 64% decrease in race-based crimes, such a dumb stat to even count. You want to end racism, then what? I don't know. I guess both sides would have to do it. Ah. 64% decrease in race-based crimes. We know the FBI keeps the race statistics. It's kind of strange the way they keep their race statistics. They tend not to report on certain races the same way they do other races because that might be racist. 46% drop in crimes based on sexual orientation identity. Oh my God. From 2024 to 2025, religious hate crimes increased 150% during that same time period. And maybe that's just because you're getting more Muslims in the area. In 2019, a gunman killed 1 person and wounded 3 others at the Shabbat of Poway Synagogue, about 20 miles from the Islamic Center. The shooter later said he was inspired by the gunman who attacked 2 mosques in Christchurch, New Zealand, killing 51 people. That guy was inspired by Dylan Roof. They're all inspired by each other. They study each other before they do it. They usually have a biggest fan of one of them, and then they'll use shooters as their profile pictures in the forums and stuff. In recent years, neo-Nazi flyers were dispersed throughout the city. A swastika defaced a college campus, and a Jewish fraternity at San Diego State University was vandalized. Dude, I think 90% of the time, those are false flags. A lot of them have been exposed as false flags, like the Jussie Smollett event. Back when the Jussie Smollett shit was going down, there were so many random swastikas being painted, and then they'd catch it, and it'd be like a black kid doing it. Or it'd be like some Democrat transgender person doing it. They're false flags. They're just doing it to make, oh, there has to be this scary Nazi presence everywhere we go. What is this? And just how they say this, but they haven't told me about the shooters yet. Wait, this is in 2019. The shooter said he was inspired by the. What about these shooters, though? Investigators believe the gunmen who attacked the mosque were radicalized online and shared a desire to create a white ethno-state. They espoused neo-Nazi propaganda in their writings and expressed hatred for Muslims, Jews, and the LGBTQ community and others, according to law enforcement. Now, these could be like some 764 members, because this is like the 764 MO. And those people, a lot of them are into neo-Nazism and Hitler and all that stuff just because they're into the most evil things. They don't like it because they're actually racist or they have some deep embedded worldview or ideology or anything. They just want to see the world burn. They're anarchists. So they pose as like neo-Nazis and stuff. But even them, when certain ones go too far, they'll block them from the group. They'll block the 764. The No Lives Matter will block the 764 member from the Discord chat because they're just too crazy. And these guys who are willing to do it and go out and do this crazy shit, they're whacked out of their mind. They're more like just anarchist nihilists. Radical nihilist extremist, or whatever they call it, an NRE, nihilistic radical extremist. Their worldview is they want to see people die. And I'm sure they do write anti-LGBT and neo-Nazi stuff online and do all that stuff. But they're just retarded, evil. The shooter's dark worldview, local residents and faith leaders said, was born from normalizing hate rhetoric online and in politics. You're going to internalize the steady stream of such anti-Muslim messaging shared online, Yusuf said. No one is born hateful. Hussam Aliouche, and the CEO and executive director of the Center for American Islamic Relations California chapter, warned that none of us is immune. We are not safe. He spoke during a self-defense webinar for Mosque Wednesday in response to the attack, adding, as we watch, Islamophobia grows, anti-Muslim rhetoric grows. So now, you know, you gotta, eventually you can't do the same oppressor versus oppressed idea teaching. You can't just always stick to the blacks, and then so you have to go to the gays and the oppressed group and the phobias and the isms. So racism worked for a while. Racism's kind of wearing off. Well, what do we go to next? Well, we did homophobia. Let's move on to Islamophobia now. As we pump Muslims into the country, let's make Islamophobia the bad word that you call somebody to make sure they don't question what's happening. And then we'll point to these crazy radicalized shooters to say all the other people who are asking legitimate questions have no questions. They're just Islamophobic. You shouldn't listen to them. They're an Islamophobe. Sorry. Coffee break. Abdullah, the Islamic Center's guard, exchanged gunfire with the shooters and radioed in a lockdown with his final breaths. Police said Kaziha, a community leader who managed the mosque store for nearly 40 years, turned people away from bullets. And Nadir Awad, whose wife is a teacher at the school, ran toward the gunfire when he heard shooting across the street from his home, police said. Don't think I'm isolated. I'm in a liberal state. I'm in a liberal city. I'm in a blue state, and so on. Hate can reach anywhere. Oh, of course, yeah. Nobody who thinks there's no violence in blue cities. That's where most of the violence is. Duh. In 2023, the Islamic Center of San Diego, which housed the elementary school and mosque, was flooded with hate flyers, prompting the imam to hire additional armed security for the campus. Abdullah's daughter said he was sometimes worried about taking lunch away from his post because something bad could happen. That was a weird sentence. He would be so vigilant in protecting the masjid, protecting the children. Hawa Abdullah said of her father, using the Arabic word for mosque. He wanted to save his food till after he left the job because he was afraid that if he went on his break, something bad will happen. Islamophobia is on the rise across the country. CAIR, what is this, like the ADL for Muslims? CARE received 8,683 complaints nationwide in 2025, the highest number recorded since 1996, the organization said. Really? More quote-unquote Islamophobic threats now than in 2021? After 9/11? That's crazy. Huh. I don't know if I believe that. Meanwhile, in San Diego County, anti-Semitic incidents have risen since Israel began its assault on Gaza. So with Israel, they kind of blame it on Israel. They're like, well, the attacks have gone up because you attacked Gaza. That's why the anti-Israel stuff is happening more, because the left is totally okay with hating the Jews, just not the Muslims. Nationally, the ADL counted 6,274 anti-Semitic incidents in 2025. What this has to do with the mosque shooting, I don't know. They're just pointing out that people are hateful. Big meanies, bunch of anti-Semitic, Islamophobic, xenophobic, homophobic, transphobic, racist, sexist, bigots. I'm sure I forgot some buzzwords in there. Despite the national downward trend, Jewish leaders say security measures like armed guards, metal detectors, and surveillance around schools and synagogues remain at an all-time high. According to Heidi Gantwerk, president of the and CEO of Jewish Federation of San Diego, Jewish institutions across the U.S. spent some $785 million on security last year. Well, they got money. We pay a tax to be Jewish in the country right now. L'chaim. We pay a tax to be Jewish in the country right now. Gantwerk said more than 60 of hate crimes. I got to watch Jewish stuff to do a Jewish voice. Oi, religious hate crimes. No, now I sound Indian. Are against Jews. It were 2% of the population. Oi. Earlier this year, the city council voted 8-1 to adopt the International Holocaust Remembrance Alliance definition of anti-Semitism. The International Holocaust Remembrance Alliance definition of anti-Semitism. See? They just, whatever group, they get to decide the meaning of the word. Whatever the biggest, like, I don't know if this is an NGO or I'm sure they're 501c3. I'm sure they're tax exempt, whatever they are. These groups, these think tanks, whatever the biggest one is with the most funding gets to decide the definition of what anti-Semitic means. SPLC gets to decide what racism is. The ADL gets to decide what anti-Semitism is. I don't know what CARE is, but they get to decide what Islamophobia is. And the word will change every 2 years. You got to keep an eye on that. The architecture of anti-Semitism is that it is a mutually reinforcing system of bigotry and oppression with other forms of hatred. Be it other forms of hatred. How many forms of hatred are there? Well, there's infinite forms of hatred. There's infinite types of hatred. There's anti-Arab racism, anti-blackness, misogyny, Islamophobia, LGBTQ phobia, I never heard of that one. I just heard homophobia. But I guess that, LGBTQ phobia. Wow. Said Vlad Kaikin, head of advocacy at the Simon Wiesenthal Center, a Jewish human rights organization. These things tend to rise together. Well, that's because they're all just the same thing. It's because there's not forms of hate. It's just hate. You can get notified. What the? YouTube. More like ScrewTube. More like Muslim residents, however, say San Diego has lagged in fighting Islamophobia. Okay. I get it. Islamophobia, bad. That looks like woman Michael Jackson. Mosque attack tightens fears as anti-Islamic rhetoric rises.
Welcome to the NewsHour. Investigators are looking deeper into the motives of 2 suspected teen gunmen who opened fire at an Islamic center in San Diego yesterday. Law enforcement officials say they were radicalized online. More than 30 guns, along with a crossbow, were found at their residences.
A crossbow?
As was a manifesto with hateful and white supremacist views targeting a range of groups. All of this
What, they think they're Daryl in The Walking Dead, the goddamn crossbow?
As the community there grieves its losses. A growing memorial in San Diego's Claremont neighborhood reflects a community in mourning after a deadly attack on the city's largest mosque. The attack on the Islamic Center of San Diego began yesterday, just before noon local time, when 2 teenagers opened fire, killing 3 people. Authorities said today the 2 gunmen met online and that law enforcement had found a manifesto targeting many groups, including Muslims.
We also identified writings and various ideologies outlining religious and racial beliefs of how the world they envisioned should look. These subjects did not discriminate on who they hated. And let me be very clear, to anyone that thinks that they can end the world through violence, they are sorely mistaken.
Imam Taha Hassan paid tribute to the 3 victims.
Anybody who thinks they can end the world through violence, you're an idiot, okay? You don't have access to the nukes. You don't have access to the satellites. Only the rich and powerful governments of the world can end the world with violence. You can't do it, you dumb kid.
Kaziha, Nadir Awad, and Amin Abdullah. All, he said, were closely tied to the mosque.
My community is mourning. My community is keeping our 3 heroes in their prayers. My community is around the 3 families, trying to show support and sympathy.
According to police, mosque security guard Amin Abdullah initiated a lockdown before he died in a shootout with the suspects.
His actions, without a doubt, delayed, distracted, and ultimately deterred these 2 individuals from gaining access to the greater.
Delay, distract, deter. I thought, okay, maybe that's different. That's like what they teach us about like security at my work if there's a shooting. But we're supposed to retreat, delay, deter, something like that. I don't even remember it.
Areas of the mosque where as many
run, hide, fight
were within 15 feet.
Run. If you can't get out, you hide.
Law enforcement
if hiding doesn't work, you fight.
Minutes, escorting students from the center's day school to safety. 9-year-old Odai Shana was among the dozens of children forced to hide in classrooms as gunfire echoed
every
through the
now
complex.
and then.
I heard like a bunch of bad stuff, like gunshots, and plus, I went inside the closet with my whole class. We heard like 12 or like 16 gunshots. And then the SWAT team said, if you open up, and they opened the door.
Police say the gunman, aged 17 and 18, also fired at a landscaper working down the street, though he was not hit. Authorities later found both teenagers dead inside their vehicle from apparent self-inflicted gunshot wounds. San Diego police say they received a call 2 hours before the shooting from the mother of the 17-year-old gunman.
And as she's beginning to provide that information to us, and it went from a runaway suicidal individual to homicidal potentially homicidal, 2 suspects.
The attack came just days before one of Islam's holiest holidays. Many in the community say they are now living with immense fear.
Immense shock, panic of, oh my God, like, are my kids safe? Are our kids safe? Because these are our kids. These are my sisters and brothers in humanity.
Attacks on houses of worship remain relatively rare in the U.S., but incidents targeting religious communities have risen in recent years. Last year, 6 people were killed in shootings at churches in Michigan and Minneapolis. Temple Israel Synagogue in Detroit, which was targeted in an attack 2 months ago,
That's the truck.
said in a statement, "The images coming from San Diego
I have
are
this.
all too familiar to us." The synagogue also called for $1 billion in federal funding to help protect houses of worship. As the community mourns, the San Diego Sheriff's Department says it has increased security around houses of worship across the region. The shooting at San Diego's Islamic Center has understandably...
I don't know. You don't get to not pay taxes and then demand the government come in and reinforce your structures when stuff's happening at them. I don't know about that.
Sent shockwaves through the Muslim community here in the U.S. For more, we turn now to Edward Ahmed Mitchell, Deputy Director of the Council on American Islamic Relations. Thank you for being with us.
Thank you for having me.
How has this shooting and the...
Okay, wait. I have that note. This is the message from Temple Israel. Hold on. Let me do this so you're not seeing the names of my friends list. We are devastated to hear that there was a fatal shooting at the Islamic Center of San Diego. The campus houses, not just a gathering center, but also a school. The images coming from San Diego are all too familiar to us. So this is Temple Israel. This is the one... No, the guy drove the truck into the Mormon one, I thought. Or no. I don't know. There's been so many of these lately. But we covered when this attack happened. As we speak, Rabbi Jen Lader is in Washington, D.C. with our Federation partners lobbying for $1.8 billion to be allocated for the protection of all houses of worship. To anyone who feels this is excessive, what happened to Temple Israel 2 months ago and now the Islamic Center of San Diego proves that it is not optional funding. Every dollar will be necessary to protect houses of worship all over the country. We know now, but is this only for synagogues and mosques because of anti-Semitism and Islamophobia? Like, where's the Christophobia or Protestantophobia? That's not a thing? It will be. Will be soon. Center of San Diego proves that it is not optional funding, blah, blah, blah. We know the images in the news may be difficult for our community to see. Please know we are available to listen to and help as the incredible team from JFS, and may God comfort the Muslim community of San Diego and beyond, and all communities of worship that pray for wholeness and peace. Temple Israel. Let's see what this guy's saying about it.
Details about the gunman in Monday's deadly mass shooting at a mosque in San Diego. Footage reviewed by CBS News shows the 2 teenage shooters displaying neo-Nazi symbols as they carried out the attack. Police say it could have been much worse if a security guard and 2 other victims had not taken action before they were killed.
A growing memorial of flowers Tuesday honored the victims of the deadly Islamic Center shooting. Mansour Kaziha, who had been with the mosque for 4 decades, Nadir Awad, a neighbor and husband to one of the center's teachers, and security guard Amin Abdullah. Also, Diego police said Abdullah died in a shootout with a 17 and 18-year-old gunman critically after initiating a lockdown protocol.
His actions without...
After fleeing the Islamic Center, police say that the suspects came here where they began shooting at a landscaper. You can still see the bullet holes in the plants. Remarkably, he was wearing a hard hat and survived. Video reviewed by CBS News suggests one suspect shot the other before killing himself. On Tuesday, the FBI said the teens were radicalized and met online.
It's weird. They have a picture of the 17-year-old, but they don't have a picture of the 18-year-old.
And had written what authorities described as a manifesto.
I guarantee you they're going to find 764 ties to these kids. Watch.
The 75-page.
It won't come out right away, but Dire Trip will put out a video about it in about 4 months. He'll have everything.
document reviewed by CBS News included Islamophobic, anti-Semitic, and misogynist rhetoric.
They didn't discriminate on who they hated. It covered a wide aspect of races and religions.
Imam Taha Hassan is the director of the Islamic Center.
If you're like, who's Dire Trip? What's Dire Trip? I'll show you. So if you're a bit twisted like me and you like documentaries about school shooters, online, the stuff like the 764 stuff and weird crazy people, this channel, Dire Trip, is probably the most informative one. All of his documentaries on these shooters are the most in-depth, and like I learned stuff that you will never hear from the mainstream media. Takes him a while to get it out because he gets all the information from Eli Roger to, he's got all of them on here. But this one, the Nashville shooter, remember that you were like the trans person, Aubrey, I forgot the last name. There's a lot, we got a lot wrong. Both sides got a lot wrong. And he goes through all of it in here. She didn't do it because of some crazy trans ideology. She did have problems with her. It was a her who wanted to be a his. Aubrey was her name. She struggled with her like gender identity a little bit, and sometimes would dress like a girl and go by girl name or boy names. But she signed her manifesto, her last page, as Aubrey, not as the guy. She didn't even actually identify as a trans. She was just a girl who sometimes would call herself a boy name, and she was trying that. She was into that stuff. She was going down that rabbit hole, but really her rabbit hole was the real reason she did it. It says the femcel who shot up a school to impress black women. She was a lesbian, and she was went to an all-black school, and she was on a black girls basketball team, and she fell in love like obsessively with all the girls on this team, but nobody ever paid her attention, and they all went on to get boyfriends, and they're all black girls. She was the only white girl on the team, and she was obsessed with these black girls. They didn't give her attention, and she thought the way she would be remembered forever is by shooting up a school. And she was going to shoot up the school that she went to with those black girls, but she didn't want to be thought of as racist. So she said, I'm going to pick a different school. And she didn't target the Christian school because it was a Christian school, but she did say in her writings, it'll score extra outrage points with people because it happens to be a Christian school. But really, she was just picking that school because she didn't want to be considered racist by shooting up the black school. It's crazy. But she hated black people at the same time. It's wild when you go through her whole manifesto and her diaries and stuff. But this guy's channel, Dire Trip, he goes real into depth on all these. Samantha Rupno, this girl was a member of 764. And there's Dylan Roof, Elliot Roger. This is the Uvalde shooting. This one's crazy. That was such a shit show. Anyway, let's get off of that. San Diego Mosque attack. Police explain how it unfolded. What time we at? 7? Let's get past this and get to the... Oh, I do want to watch this heckler.
Thank you.
Direct result of your leadership. Our Muslim brothers and sisters have been talking to you for how long? You have to f***ing listen to them, Todd. Just like you did with ICE. You were pulled in ICE, you were pulled in Zionist propaganda, and you'll keep doing it as long as it lines your pocket.
You emboldened ICE, you emboldened Zionist propaganda, and you'll keep doing it as long as it lines your pockets. This lady's going off.
Show something. Worse approval rating than a fascist fascist dictator with
Today, our city was shaken.
I think she said you have a worse approval rate than our fascist dictator, and you have blood. You have shit on your hands.
Taken by a violent act of hate here at the Islamic Center of San Diego. And my heart is with every person that is impacted by this horrific tragedy. No one in our city should live in fear because of their identity, their faith, or their place of learning. I'm grateful to the San Diego Police Department, our San Diego Fire Rescue Department, and our partners at the local, state, and federal level, all of whom showed up here to help with this investigation and this response and help to bring this threat to an end. This tragedy is particularly hurtful to our Muslim community as it comes together at the start of the Dhul Hijjah, one of Islam's holiest periods leading up to the Hajj and the Eid al-Adha, a time of deep faith, reflection, and unity. Hate has no home in San Diego. Islamophobia has no home in San Diego.
Hold on. Sickening manifesto emerges of San Diego mosque shooter. But do they read it?
New disturbing details have emerged about
anything in this video. This is from New York Post. This is for news reporting, education purposes, information and education, and news reporting, news coverage, entertainment, information, education, news reporting. From New York Post. This is not live video. There's my disclaimer.
About the May 18th massacre at a San Diego mosque and the two deranged teenage shooters who allegedly live streamed the carnage.
They just put a picture up of homeboy offed in the car. Who else is ready for things to reset back to the pioneer days? That'd be nice.
And left behind a vile manifesto. Why did Kane Clark and Caleb Vasquez open fire on San Diego's largest mosque? Here's what you need to know. On May 18th, a San Diego neighborhood was hurled into mayhem when two suspected teenage gunmen fired shots at San Diego's largest mosque. Kids, staff, and teachers cowered inside as several shots rang out at the San Diego Islamic Center in the city's Claremont
All right, get to the manifesto.
Authorities said officers' details have now emerged about Clark and Vasquez's motive for the horrific shooting. Law enforcement sources told the California Post that Clark and Vasquez left behind a shocking, hate-filled manifesto which praised Adolf Hitler and a slew of mass murderers before the attack. The document expresses a desire to spark a race war and bring about the end of civilization. The 75-page document, laden with Nazi iconography, also includes a nonsensical
75 pages
collection of anti-Trump, anti-liberal, anti-Semitic, homophobic, and
You see, and they'll say this is radical right-wing violence, but it has anti-Trump and anti-liberal, anti-LGBT. They're anarchists. They're not far right. They're south. They're anarchists.
misogynistic bile, tied together only by the author's fury that they were not given more in life. Sources said investigators have a copy of the
That's a Elliot Rodgers trope right there. Why don't I get the girls? Why don't I get the stuff? Because you're a weird creep.
purported manifesto and believe it to be authentic. In Vasquez's portion of the document, he lamented being short, which he said caused him great pain.
Oh, God. This is the incel. Yeah, this is some incel Discord group, 764 online anarchist, nihilist, radical extremist cult crap. All the tropes. It's not a right-wing thing or a left-wing thing. If anything, it's an anarcho-communist thing, which I would say leans left, but...
and humiliation. Clark also chillingly stated that he felt no remorse for his actions and wrote that, had he survived, he would have allowed his lawyers to handle everything afterward. On top of the sickening manifesto, the FBI is also investigating a supposed live stream the shooters captured during their brutal attack.
Live stream it. Live stream it. How much you want to bet they were live streaming it onto Discord groups like 764 Gore groups? I'll bet you.
Live stream video of the horrific attack shows Clark and Vasquez storming the mosque and firing shots. Clark was captured with a black sun symbol, which is associated with Nazi Germany, square on his chest. Also spotted on the handgun of one of the shooters is the statement, "Race war now."
Writing on the gun, just like the Uvalde shooter, just like they're all doing this now. These people are all from the same shit. This is all that set. This is that 764 shit I'm talking about. This is the most dangerous cult.
Right above a swastika. Vasquez can also be seen in the video, which circulated online without audio, grabbing the barrel of Clark's rifle and bringing it to his own forehead at multiple points, urging his accomplice to shoot him in the head. After driving away from the scene, the alleged video cuts to show what appears to be Clark sitting in the driver's seat with a pistol. He reaches over and shoots his accomplice in the head, reloads, and shoots him again before putting the gun under his own chin and pulling the trigger. But it seems like police had the jump on the suspects before the shooting. According to police, a concerned mother of one of the suspected
Of course they knew about him before the shooting. They always do.
teen shooters had frantically alerted cops a few hours before the shooting that her suicidal son had run away. But the situation escalated when the mother later learned that weapons were missing from the home and her car
Well, you're going to be locked up for 20 years.
was gone. She told authorities her son had dressed in camouflage and was with an acquaintance at the time, which San Diego Police Chief Scott Wall noted changed the threat level of the investigation.
That began to trigger a larger threat assessment picture. Our threat management unit began to take the tips and leads that we had and utilize the technology we have available to us. Our license plate readers was at the top of that list.
Police spent 2 hours scrambling to locate the suspects before they received a call of an active shooter at the Islamic Center at approximately 11:43 a.m. Clark, one of the suspected shooters, attended Madison High School.
He's got cornrows.
And was a standout wrestler, according to the school's social media page. His grandfather, David Clark, said, quote, "We're very sorry for what happened. We know as much as you do. It's a shock." A neighbor of one of the suspected gunmen said they knew the family, quote, fairly well, and even said that the alleged gunman would help them bring in groceries and waved at them that very morning.
And he's helped us bring in our groceries. They all have. They got me a cake when I turned 80. Growing up, he was typical. We'd seen with green hair and blue hair, and we didn't talk much. But
Yeah, that's your typical right-wing guy.
then, like I said, he helped us bring in our groceries, and he'd wave at us. In fact, he just waved at you when?
Yeah,
Today or yesterday?
This morning.
Yeah.
The center's Imam Taha Hassan said that his community is mourning after the horrific massacre.
The door of the Islamic Center, we never ask them whether you are a Muslim or not, who are you? Because everyone is welcome. So let's do our best to spread this culture of love and tolerance and sympathy for the sake of this nation, for the sake of the future generation.
Wow. All right. Enough of the shootings. We'll do Thomas Massie real quick. I'm not super concerned about this. It's just all the Trump detractors were turning on Trump and jumping on the Thomas Massie bandwagon. I didn't really care because it's the same people that jumped off the Trump train to support DeSantis, and they thought that DeSantis was gonna beat Trump after 2020. Trump doesn't have a chance anymore. DeSantis is our guy. He's gonna win. No, he's not. No, he's not. Maybe in 2028, that'd be cool. But no, he was not gonna win in 24. But Thomas Massie was the new guy who was challenging Trump. He's not getting the Jew money. He's not getting the Adelson money. And he lost this week. Congressman Massie, one of the most vocal Republican critics of Donald Trump, has lost his fight for re-election to a challenger endorsed by the president. And now the left is mad because they're like, oh, Trump's not letting people who don't support him get even close to political victory. And why? Because he just says he doesn't support him. He talks bad about him because he doesn't like him. The left can do that. Why can't the right do that? The most expensive primary in the history of the House of Representatives had been widely seen as a key test of President Trump's decade-long grip on the Republican Party. Well, it was a key test, and Trump won, as usual. Rubio is, look, I do like Rubio a lot. I'll pick Rubio over Vance. I probably would pick Rubio over DeSantis, too. But I'd like to see those three in there. Massie, who has been in office since 2012, publicly broke with Trump by voting against his big, beautiful tax and spending bill last year over concerns about the national debt. He has also voted to curtail Trump's attacks on suspected drug boats in the Caribbean and his ongoing war in Iran. Beta, I'm understand being critical of the war on Iran, but critical of attacking the drug boats and what happened in Venezuela? No, that was too easy. Why would you be critical of that? And the big, beautiful bill, okay, I'll hear arguments about the spending and things like that, but these are things he promised. He said, I'm going to do no tax on tips. He said, I'm going to do no tax on overtime. He said, I'm going to have a bigger child tax credit. Better deals for small business startups. All of that's in the big, beautiful bill. He did it. And then spending, whatever, dude. I'm so tired of hearing about the debt. They'll say Republicans have raised the debt more. That's just because a Republican is the most current person in office. Every president has doubled the debt since freaking like Clinton. They've all doubled the debt. So if you go by sheer quantity of dollars, Trump is the most recent. Yeah, Trump has increased it the most. But if you go based off of percentage increase, they've all had about a 50% increase on the debt. So it's pretty equal across the board. Galrine beat him. Let me see. One second. GOP lawmaker, Republicans shrug off fears that Trump targeting GOP incumbents could backfire on agenda, from Fox. Let's see. Kentucky residents talk about Trump influence on Thomas Massie loss in GOP primary to Ed Galrine. And I never heard of this Ed Galrine guy. Jeremy's in Kentucky. Very contentious. A lot of stuff with Kentucky in the news lately. From AP.
Massie burnt more bridges than you could possibly burn and still expect to be standing at the end of the day. And he's a living proof of what you should not do if you want to stay in office. And one would be crossing your president, crossing the leader of your house, you know, is Mike Johnson opposing him, and then not being able to have a relationship with the people who see the world sort of like you do, the so-called Liberty Caucus in Congress.
He's very authentic. He's not a politician, so that kind of follows what the Founding Fathers had. When the Founding Fathers were not politicians, they were farmers and you know, had crafts and stuff like that. So what we're going back to, in a way, is having people that are not politicians, that are not, you know, bought and sold.
Sorry, I had to get some water. Is this after he lost?
I'm not happy about the results. I think this effort on Trump's part to remove Massie is just tremendously short-sighted. because I think it's going to hurt him.
Looks like it's going to hurt Massie more. He lost. Trump won, and Trump's not running again, so I don't think he cares too much about his approval ratings.
It was a difficult relationship for sure, and I really admire Thomas for how he actually held his integrity and never shot back with the same kind of vitriol that Trump aimed toward him.
I don't know. They all seem like Democrats to me.
Thomas Massie has lost.
And here's Megyn Kelly. She's totally anti-Trump now.
It happened. He went down. He was defeated in the Republican primary by his Trump-backed challenger, Ed Gallrein, a 68-year-old dairy farmer and retired Navy SEAL. Now, anyone who is even a casual observer of politics knows that Massie has been a thorn in Trump's side throughout his second term. He co-sponsored the Epstein Files Transparency Act. He voted against the One Big Beautiful Bill. That was Trump's signature legislation to fund his entire agenda. He's been very critical of the Iran war and the Trump administration's close ties with Israel. All of these things, standalone could have had Trump turn on him. But, together, it's kind of no mystery why Trump was not his fan and found an opponent to run against him. Trump and his political allies, as well as pro-Israel groups, made ousting Massie a major priority, with over $32 million spent. So obscene. It's so obscene, the numbers we're spending on these races. For a Kentucky House District, number 4 to be exact, Kentucky House District 4, it now holds the record for the most expensive primary in U.S. history.
That's crazy.
In U.S. history. With pro-Israel groups spending, at least $9 million alone against Massie, and a super PAC funded by pro-Israel billionaires like Paul Singer and Miriam Adelson shelling out another nearly $7 million. So it's almost $20 million.
This is a problem. I see the problem. Okay. Don't get me wrong. But damn, 32 million and Israel spent 9 million. That's crazy.
Of the $31 million spent on behalf of Israel. I mean, this is crazy. What are we doing? What are we doing? Why are we allowing that? Even if you're pro-Israel, and of course I've been pro-Israel virtually my entire adult life. I don't want that determining American elections. Why is that determining American? We got problems here. We got bridges falling down. We've got roads that we can't drive on. We got kids who can't get into college or buy homes or get jobs when they get out of college. We got grown adults who work very hard, 2 jobs, double shifts, can't take a vacation. Can we not worry about Israel in the election of our congressman? Maybe we worry about it, but it's number 7 on the list as opposed to number 1. The thing that dominated the vast majority of the spending. It's crazy talk.
But you're one of the people who have been pushing all this Israel stuff. Fuentes, Tucker Carlson, you, Alex Jones has turned on Trump, but he's not going to the Israel stuff all the time as much because Alex is pretty pro-Israel.
This is why you should.
Thomas Massie has lost American. We got problems here. We got bridges falling down. We've got roads that we can't drive on. We got kids who can't get into college or buy homes or get jobs when they get out of college. We got grown adults who work very hard, 2 jobs, double shifts. Maybe we worry about it, but it's dominated the vast majority of the spending. It's crazy talk. That spending, truly seems to have paid off because Gallrein not only beat Massie, who has won 7 terms out there and by a lot, but he beat him by nearly 10 points. So it wasn't particularly competitive. Congressman Massie making a reference to this issue in his concession speech. Watch.
I would have come out sooner, but I had to call my opponent and concede, and it took a while to find Ed Gallrein in Tel Aviv.
Thomas Massie has lost.
That's pretty good.
He went down. He was defeated in the Republican primary by his Trump-backed challenger, Ed Gallrein, a 68-year-old dairy farmer.
Oh, I already played this. Okay, it started over. Whoops. Thomas Massie bashes Republicans Trump's ballroom after primary loss. Outgoing Rep Thomas Massie slammed his fellow Republican members of Congress and President Donald Trump during the May 24th edition of Meet the Press, less than a week after losing to a Trump-backed primary challenger in his Kentucky district. Incumbent NBC host Kristen Welker that he believed he was unseated because of his support for releasing the government's Epstein files, which we did, including his Epstein Transparency Act legislation, because that was the most important thing in the country. Thomas, you just wanted to be popular. You did the not, I'm not with Israel. I want the Epstein files. I don't like Trump either. You pulled all that shit and it backfired on you, buddy. Didn't work. I don't know. Prepping for a debate all week, pretty much. I think the biggest crime I committed against the swamp, Kristen, was showing the American people that somebody on the right could join somebody on the left and get something done, which is releasing the Epstein files. Wow. Great job, Thomas. Wow. You worked with the left to bring out the Epstein files because that was what we needed to be focused on. Awesome. Americans on both sides of the aisle have called for the government to share more information about the disgraced financier, blah, 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 Epstein stuff, Israel. I don't care. So that's it for Thomas Massie. He lost. He took an L. Ain't since no praying for him no more. He gone. You fuck with the bull, you get the horns. That's what they say. All right, let's close this. I got some rapid fire news for you. Rapid news. Where is it? Oh, wait. Open them in a new tab. Open all in new window. Yeah. Oh, first we have a thing for Memorial Day. You tell me if you believe this, because I don't believe this. This is reels and rapid fire. Let's watch some of these short reels. So this guy is claiming that Memorial Day, happy Memorial Day, by the way, everybody. If you know any vets who passed, you know, RIP to the vets. We could study cryptozoology. You could study cryptozoology. I got to study Ukraine. What the? All right, but this guy's saying that Memorial Day was started by the African-American community. Is this true or is this revisionist history?
African Americans. The first Memorial Day actually was created by African Americans celebrating their freedom in the immediate aftermath of the Civil War. The story was just almost unbelievable when I first read it. On May 1st.
And then there's just a random black guy looking at the camera, because that's how you go viral these days.
1865. The Civil War had ended, just ended. People gathered on the old Planters horse track, the racetrack in Charleston, and they held this extraordinary parade. In the last 6 to 8 months of the war, the Confederates had converted the infield of that racetrack into an open-air prison, and about 260 Union soldiers had died. On May 1st, about 10,000 people marched around the old Planters race course, led by some 2,000 or 3,000 black children, carrying armloads of roses and flowers and singing John Brown's Body, followed by black women, black men, and then Union troops, and they marched around.
Racism is a mad.
The first moment.
I don't know. What do you think? True revisionist history? Sounds made up. I don't know if I believe all that. What else we got? New York Post says paraglider fights for her life after being clipped by a plane in heart-pounding first-person footage. I think they have video here. Is there video? Here we go. Let's see this video. Damn. Hold on. I want to see that again. Damn. Oh, that's so horrifying. Backup chute. Backup chute. Backup chute's out. It's not coming out. It's stuck. It's open. Backup chute is open. She's tangled in her cords. Wow. She's all tangled in her cords. Wouldn't it be horrible if you survived the fall, but you got choked by the... And she's in like this basket thing that seems to be constricting her and making it hard to move. Get out of that. She can't cut out of the harness. God, that's got to be horrifying. So she's in this like basket sleeping bag type thing that holds her while she's paragliding. So she's tangled in that. Plus she's got the other chute's cords wrapped around her neck and her face. She's got her backup is open. Luckily it opened. But then the cords from that are all tangled and she's like constrained and probably can barely breathe. Oh my God, that's got to be horrible. See, she's trying to get out of that basket, but she can't ditch the harness. Imagine you're freaking out. This is why you got to stay calm in something like this. You're freaking out and you can't breathe because you're tangled in the rope. So your first thought is get out of this harness. Then you realize, oh crap, that was my parachute. Okay, looks like she's stabilized. You also got to look at where you're going to land. There's another minute left. She's coming at the ground. She's aiming towards that road pretty good. She just can't stand up in that stupid bag thing. She's getting her feet out. She's coming in hot. Tree. Nice. Not a bad landing. Wow. Oh, she's probably... If you ain't a Christian, you better be one now, woman.
So, ich lebe noch. Das ist aber die Hauptsache.
Dang, you just got hit by a plane, my girl, and made it. Wow. You got a story to tell off that. That's wild. Paraglider was able to pull her rescue parachute and land safely. According to police, the 44-year-old Austrian had started from Schmokevoven. Did they get the pilot? Canopy appears to be split in half after it was struck. That plane just came out of nowhere. Wow. She acted quick. I'm surprised she was able to get the backup out when she was all tangled like that. Huh. Wild. All right. What else we got? DOJ charges 15 in shocking $90 million Minnesota fraud scheme. So here's an update on the Nick Shirley expose of the fraud in Minnesota. People are getting arrested, and these people have ties to Ilhan Omar. Angela went out there and exposed Ilhan Omar's fraudulent restaurant that she had set up. It's basically a Shell Corp charity restaurant that they just launder money through. They're all going down. They're all going down. All these people that were complaining about Trump saying, I want to see arrests. When are the arrests going to happen? They're coming. Ye without faith, ye with little faith, be patient. Wait and see. Federal prosecutors on Thursday identified the defendants charged in Minnesota's sweeping Medicaid and benefits fraud crackdown, accusing operators of autism centers, housing assistance companies, and child care programs of collectively stealing tens of millions of taxpayer dollars through fraudulent reimbursement schemes. The charges span multiple Minnesotan assistance programs and include allegations of healthcare fraud, money laundering, wire fraud, and conspiracy to defraud the United States. Prosecutors allege the schemes involve fake autism service claims, inflated housing support reimbursements, and fraudulent child care payments, with intended losses totaling more than $90 million. So, the charge is going up. 15 people charged. And they're just working their way up the line. It's going to get to Ilya and Omar. It might get to Tim Waltz. So let's go. Let's watch a little funny video here. Bird autism.
The first one is the creepy.
Bird autism is definitely one of the best forms of autism. What a legend. I didn't know there was something called bird autism. This is 5 minutes long. I'm not going to watch all of it, but we'll watch it for a second. Bird autism.
Sound of the common loon. Oh, wait, hang on. There we go.
Dang. And then he just throws the stuffed bird on the ground. That was an excellent loon call. I do it like this. It's hard to do it with the air conditioner on.
All right. I'm going to do two species of crows. The American crow and the fish crow. Be prepared, but this one's loud. And then the fish crow.
He tosses the bird. This kid's legendary. This is not autism. This is just a kid doing a great time, a great bit with a talent to make bird calls. This is not autism.
And then the eastern bluebird. And then the Indian peacock.
What, he can do all the birds? This guy's the bird whisperer.
And then one of my favorites, the northern cardinal.
I know that one.
Damn.
And then the Canada goose.
That's crazy. This goes on for a while. He can do a lot of them.
And then the mallard duck.
Pretty cool, pretty cool, pretty cool. All right, let's move on. Watch this thing for 5 minutes.
Today is a big...
Okay, so this is the fraud thing. I just put this in here so because we already reviewed this on Friday. So I'm not going to go through it again. But I was going to play just a little bit of this part here in case you missed it then.
Now let's see what they have to say.
Today, we are announcing criminal charges against 15 defendants in Minnesota for fraud schemes.
This was supposed to come after the story.
That targeted
but I got
over
the bird
$90
kid in
million
there first.
In taxpayer dollars. Our cases today involve 7 different state-managed Medicaid programs that have been systematically pilfered by fraudsters who treated Minnesota-run programs as their personal piggy bank. One defendant is charged with defrauding the Integrated Community Support Medicaid program. One patient was supposed to be receiving 24-hour care through this program, but he was actually being serviced by a fraudster and received no services.
And he died.
This patient was later found dead. Meanwhile,
that's crazy. And they're making millions and millions of dollars and driving around brand new Bentleys and Rolls Royces and Rolexes on their wrists. Crazy. We got some updates on Iran and the Strait of Hormuz. British sailors prepare to deploy on a mine clearing mission to Hormuz, which may never come. Aboard the RFA Lime Bay, docked off the coast of Gibraltar, hundreds of British sailors are waiting to be deployed for a mine clearing mission in the Strait of Hormuz that is still in doubt. U.S. President Donald Trump has lashed out at allies for not doing more to support the United States war effort in Iran, whose chokehold on the strait has crippled international shipping and sent energy prices soaring. In March, Trump told NATO allies to get your own oil. Go and get your own oil and secure the strait themselves. You want it cleared? You're mad about it? You can buy oil from us, or you can go open up the strait yourself. On the southern tip of the Iberian Peninsula and the British overseas territory of Gibraltar, the UK's Royal Navy is preparing to do that, but only once a peace agreement is reached. Trump said Saturday that a deal with Iran has been largely negotiated after calls with Israel and other allies in the region, but it still needs finalizing. So Britain's going to go get them mines. Okay, here's Bird Kid again. Oh, see, I had Bird Kid in there twice. See, Bird Kid wasn't supposed to come till later. All right. I saw Andrew posted about this on X, so I went and found some articles about it. Now, I found two articles about this story. Both of them seem a little sketchy. India Today and techeblog.com. But the story is that there's a Chinese company making an AI pet collar that you put on your cat or your dog, and then they can talk to you. So that it says, I want to play. I'm hungry. I think I call bullshit on this. This is like those people. I did a show about this a long time ago, and because people got outraged on Facebook. You know when they have like the floor mats and they're like these hexagons and they have buttons on them, and it's all these different like no, food, play, treat, run, fetch, pet. And the animal, when they step on it, it makes the sound. And these animal loving people, I know everybody loves animals, but these like animal freaks, the cat ladies, the weirdos, they're making all these videos on Facebook about it, about, look, my animal can talk. And the dog's like, play. Oh, you want to play? Let's play. And the dog's like, and starts playing. And they're like, look, he speaks. He knows when he wants to play. Bitch, that dog would have always played. He could have been hitting that button wanting food, but then you said, let's play. And he's like, okay, let's play. He's hitting the food button and you say, but he wants to get pet. You give him food and he's like, okay, food. They're all good things. Every one of those buttons that they push, all they know is when I push a button, good stuff happens. Doesn't matter which button the animal pushes. Something good's going to happen. A pet, a play, a rub, a scratch. Let outside. So all the animal knows is just run over there and start hitting buttons, and they'll just start giving you stuff. And I said on one of those posts, I said, this is so dumb. And then I explained it, and the animal lovers freaked out on me. So I did a show about it, going through all their responses. It was pretty funny. But this is a similar thing. AI pet collar that can translate your animal's meows and barks into words. Sounds like some BS to me. If you like animals or have a pet, you've probably tried to speak to them. But a pss, pss, pss can only get you so far. No matter how hard you try to understand what your cat or dog says, you likely still fail to get what they're saying. Yeah, I likely can't speak cat or dog. You're right. Wow. Science. Now a Chinese startup seems to have found a solution for you, an AI collar that can make your pet talk in human language. Mengzhao, a Chinese tech startup, has revealed a new AI-powered pet translator. This, the company claims, can allow you to understand what your pet is saying. That is, it can turn barks, meows, and other signals into human speech. The company says the collar-like device worn around the pet's neck can recognize vocalizations, emotions, and behavioral language with an accuracy rate approaching 95%. How do you know that? How do you test that? It could just be saying anything, and how do you prove whether it's right or wrong? You don't actually know what this is so stupid. And dumbasses are going to fall for this and buy it. Is there a video?
There's something they've been waiting to say. Petty chat helps it come through. I won't play.
No. Dude, it's just random. There's just random things that they play no matter what sound the animal makes. It's going to be like play, pet, food, walk, outside. Just cool things that animals love. What do you mean? There's never going to be, you're never going to hear like, something, dogs, they want to hump stuff sometimes. Is the dog ever going to be like, row, row, when he sees another dog and it's going to be like, girl, I want that ass. Because that's what the dog's really thinking. That's what the dog's saying when the dog walks by another female dog in heat and goes, it's going to say, play, run. But the dog's really saying, let me get up on that ass.
I'm hungry. I need snack. Hungry.
Hungry.
Let's play. Come on, play now.
See, this is so fake. Play, outside, treat, food, pet, scratch, belly rub. It's just nice stuff to do for your animal.
Leave me alone. I don't like you.
What? Leave me alone? I don't like you? Let me get a piece of that ass. I want to see it say that.
Easy, babe. Calm down.
Oh my God, no way. And then you can talk back into it and it makes sounds for your pet. This is such BS. And people are going to buy this and you're going to see them walking around at the park, AI translating back and forth with their pet, having conversations. This is going to make the cat ladies way worse. Now they're going to be having fake conversations with their animals. This is ridiculous.
Turn every bark into a conversation. Even when you're away, Petty Chat stays in tune with what they need. Cats and dogs communicate through distinct vocal.
I don't want to see the science behind this. I don't believe it. Sounds like nonsense, but there's multiple ads talking about this, so that's the extent of the verification that I've done on this story. What else we got? Fox News guest Robert Harvard sparks wild conspiracy theory over latest TV experience. This is Masked Man. This is the Masked Man. We watched this and talked about it on Saturday night. But I got it for you right here. Fox News guest has sparked social media frenzy with wild speculation that he went on live TV wearing a prosthetic mask. Retired Navy Vice Admiral Robert Harward made a brief appearance on America's Newsroom program on Tuesday to discuss the ongoing war with Iran with Fox host Bill Hemmer and Dana Perino. Now here's the ad, and here's not the ad, but the video. Watch his neck, the creepy thing his neck does. It's very odd.
Internet sleuths have come up with the wild theory that this Fox News guest was wearing a hyper-realistic mask, straight out of Mission Impossible. Retired Vice Admiral Robert Harward has gone viral for his May 19th interview on Fox.
We played this and we zoomed it in. I'm not going to do it all right now, but on Saturday we zoomed it in. We played it in slow-mo. We watched it from 9 different angles with different lighting effects. And it is very weird. It doesn't look like a shadow. It does look like he's wearing some sort of mask. And the way it's not just the neck. The neck will distract you from everything else that's weird about this. The coloring of his forehead, his eye sockets, his mouth and his lips don't seem to move right. His face doesn't crease right. But then why would he be wearing a mask? If he's a known guy and they need him to say certain things and be that face saying it for more credibility, then I could understand it. Or maybe this guy's dead somewhere. And now this is a fake him that's taking his place.
News. After hordes of social media users noticed what they said appeared to be an unusual shadow on the bottom of his neck, leading to the wild theory that the contributor was wearing a hyper-realistic mask. Many fueling the notion have pointed out
that does not look like the same guy.
Regular contributor to the program, and that in all his appearances, several of which were as recent as this month, his neck appears completely normal. The outlandish claim has since spread like wildfire and turned into a full-blown internet meltdown, as many couldn't help themselves but to weigh in. Left-wing podcaster Ed Krasenstein joined in on the hysteria on X. Can anyone really explain this? Why does it look like Fox News put a man with a mask in their show? He wrote. While conservative media personality Meghan McCain jokingly called back to another viral internet moment, writing, "That motherfucker is not real." Others online have tried to bring the situation back down to earth by offering several possible explanations. It's a shadow, or more precisely, a combination of shadows from the many lights in the studio, and his shirt collar creating a weird overlap of shades on his neck, one user wrote. While another asserted that the oddity can simply be explained by a smoothing filter that caused artifacting that they noted is common on virtual calls. Even Polymarket has gotten in on the action, allowing users to wager on the outlandish theory.
People are betting on this.
People really aren't kidding when they say you can bet on anything these days.
Yeah, well, now you're doing an ad for Polymarket, so I don't know, man. It's not just the neck. I get what they're saying with artifacting and shading and shadows and stuff, but that shadow does not look like, I don't know, and it's not just the neck. You got to look at his mouth and the way his mouth curves. He doesn't look like that same guy. His skin is tighter than that guy, unless he got like Botox or something. This guy looks younger than the other guy. So I don't know. What do you guys think? Elon's been posting about this. Murder accused with Sikh blade denies manslaughter. This is Henry Nowak died in a Southampton street in December. And Elon was posting about it. I guess the person who stabbed this kid, his skin is weirdly smooth. A Sikh man on trial for stabbing a university student in the street has denied a charge of manslaughter. Henry Nowak, 18, from Chafford 100, Essex, was killed as he walked back from a night out in Southampton on December 3rd. Vikram Digwa, 23, is accused at Southampton Crown Court of the murder and carrying a knife in public, both of which he denied. The judge, William Mosley, KC, told the jury that he had ordered Digwa to face a charge of manslaughter as an alternative to the murder charge. Explaining the new charge, the judge told jurors, if a person may not have deliberately have caused the fatal injury or may not have intended to kill or cause reasonable serious harm, he or she is not guilty of murder. What? And this is what people are pissed off about. That this guy basically stabbed up this kid for no reason, and now he's getting manslaughter, and he may beat manslaughter. He's denying that he even did manslaughter. So he won't even accept the plea bargain. Previously, the court heard the University of Southampton first-year student was walking back to his accommodation after drinking to a level below the drink and drive limit. Jurors were told the attack was not witnessed, and Nowak tried to escape by climbing over a fence. Giving evidence, the defendant of St. Denis Road, Southampton, told the court that Nowak, who he described as a drunk, had racially abused him before punching him and knocking his turban off. Oh, so he's going to get away with murder because the kid was racist, allegedly. He says he had stabbed Nowak in the back of his legs in self-defense after Nowak had threatened him and grabbed him by the hair. He claimed that he had not realized at the time that he had caused the fatal stab wound to his chest. Yeah, this sounds like BS. But, see, Elon posted about it. The poor boy was running away from someone who stabbed him and stole his phone, but the police in the UK attacked him instead of his murderer. So they're saying that this guy is a racist, and he started it. And therefore, the guy who stabbed him to death is just guilty of manslaughter. But Elon is saying that they're lying to us, basically. And I trust Elon on stuff like this because he has access to more information than they do. Back of the legs is not something. Yeah, how do you even do that? It seemed like he was grabbing on him and dude's trying to run away, and that's how you stab somebody in the back of the legs. Like you're wrestling, it goes to the ground, dude gets up and he's trying to run away, and you grab onto on his legs and you start stabbing him in the leg. It's the only reason I can think of stabbing somebody in the back of the leg. Thank you, Elon, for stepping up after police mocked this dying teen instead of helping. So they're saying basically it's his fault. He was a racist.
Okay, guys, so this is
some BS. This is footage that exposes his final moments. The student behind the story dying in handcuffs. They put him in handcuffs and he died in handcuffs.
Him in handcuffs. Henry Nowak died on that street. So I'm Joseph Morris. Please subscribe. The trial currently underway at Southampton Crown Court is forcing the United Kingdom to ask a question it clearly doesn't want to answer. Did police let a teenager bleed to death because they were too afraid of being accused of racism to act? Because based on what jurors are hearing, that may be exactly what happened. So let's go back to the night of December 3rd.
But the dude might get off with manslaughter. He might beat manslaughter.
2025. 18-year-old Henry Nowak was a first-year accountancy and finance student at the University of Southampton, originally from Shafford 100 in Essex. By all accounts, Henry was
Essex, this is London, right?
Exactly the kind of kid you'd want your son to be. Described by family and friends as kind, intelligent, hardworking, and well-liked, with a bright future ahead of him. That night, he was celebrating the end of his first semester with his new university football teammates. He had a few drinks, but prosecutors confirmed his blood alcohol level was well below the legal limit to drive. He was
but they called him a drunk. He's well below the DUI limit, but they call him a drunk.
Coherent, he was on his phone and he was walking home as he made his way along Belmont Road in Southampton's Portswood area around 11:30 at night. Henry was sending Snapchat videos to friends, just a young guy having a normal night, staying connected. What he didn't know was that he was about to cross paths with 23-year-old Vikram,
and this guy who walks around with a freaking war dagger on his bag,
Singh Digwa, and that this encounter would cost him his life. Now here's where the details get important. According to prosecutors at Southampton Crown Court, Digwa—
This looks like AI. This does not look real.
Was openly carrying a shastar, a large Sikh ceremonial blade with a 21 centimeter or roughly 8-inch blade in a sheath around his neck. And Henry's own phone, which was still recording, actually captured the moment the two men met.
I don't know if this picture is real. This does not look real.
On that footage, Henry can be seen noticing the weapon. He says to Digwa, quote, "You're a bad man." Say, "You're a bad man," end quote. And Digwa replies, quote, "I am a bad man," end quote. It almost sounds like a joke. A moment later, prosecutors say it was anything but. According to the prosecution, Digwa pursued Henry and stabbed him multiple times. Prosecutors allege 5 stab wounds in total, including a fatal wound directly to the chest, 3 inches deep, and 2 of those wounds were to the back of Henry's legs. The back. That means Henry was running away when he was being stabbed. You cannot claim self-defense against someone who is fleeing from you. Nearby residents—
Well, he is, and the judge is agreeing with it, and they're calling this kid a racist drunk. Crazy.
Heard Henry crying out that he'd been stabbed and that he was dying. He tried to climb over a fence to escape. There was a blood trail on the pavement. The scene was not ambiguous.
And the police arrive and they handcuff
Henry. Had pulled up. Police put Henry Nowak, the stabbing victim who was bleeding out on the street, in handcuffs. Body cam footage shown in court captured Henry being held against the wall of a house by Digwa's own father while Henry repeated, quote, "Can't breathe," end quote. Officers administered first aid only after Henry lost consciousness.
Now that's not like a George Floyd, "I can't breathe" because of a fentanyl overdose. That's like, I have a hole in my lung and blood is gushing out of me in multiple places. I actually can't breathe.
Consciousness. He never regained it. He died on that pavement. Now, I want to ask you something. Drop it in the comments. If you'd arrived at a scene where one person had no visible injuries and the other had 5 stab wounds, who would you have handled?
I think I might have played this video when it happened. I do remember a video and they were out at night and a guy came up and he just started stabbing the dude and he ran. I think I did see when this happened back in December.
Now here's the thing. That phone Henry was recording on, it was found in Digwa's pocket. Digwa had taken it. And when prosecutors reviewed the footage, it contained no racial slurs. No turban being pulled off, none of the racial abuse that Digwa claimed had driven him to defend himself. The very evidence Digwa would have needed to back up his story was on that phone, and it didn't back up his story at all. But it gets worse. While Digwa was in custody, a covert recording was made of a conversation he had with his brother. In it, the brother can be heard saying, quote, "You should say it was self-defense," end quote, and Digwa responds,
and blame racism.
Quote, "I am a fool, an idiot," end quote. That recording is now in front of a jury. Digwa's mother, 53-year-old Kiran.
Yeah, but they're still trying to just give him manslaughter. Crazy. What a mess. What a mess. What a mess. All right, we got to move on because of time. Then we just got some, there's been a trend. There's been a trend of Elliot Page replacing heroes in movies, so we're going to watch a few of these. I'm a little late on this one. This is earlier in the week or last week, but it's pretty funny. Hold up. We got to go full screen for this. Let's go. This is Elliot Page and Troy. Boagrius! Boagrius! That's Boagrius. Elliot Page. Elliot Page, Achilles gonna take him out. The end. Conan the Barbarian, Elliot Page. Hold on, I got another one. I haven't seen this one yet.
Offers his respect, Mom. All he asks is that Sparta kneels a simple bow and your people will be spared.
Don't call me ma'am.
My apologies, miss. Zexus is generous. He only wants your loyalty. Surely even a delicate thing like yourself can understand that.
Oh my God. With the scars.
I said don't fucking misgender me!
Ma'am, calm down. No need to get emotional.
Ma'am. What the fuck? Oh my God, it's Dylan Mulvaney.
It is sir!
Awesome. Awesome, awesome, awesome. They took down an Arena Zaruska banner. Memorial. And I wasn't going to talk as much about the memorial coming down, but they brought down the memorial, and also the guy who stabbed her. They're saying he's incompetent to stand trial now. Crazy. Shocker. Anyway, that's it for Reels and Rapid Fire News. Let's go. All right. Last segment of the show. We're going to talk about tick bombs in Texas. So this story's been growing a little bit. I've been onto this for a while. I saw a video, and I can't find that video, but of Bill Gates years ago talking about these canisters that they have ticks in, and they can release them, and the ticks will come out, and it will damage the livestock, the cows, and then the conspiracy is that Bill Gates has infected these ticks with this new virus, and he's already conveniently already has the vaccine for it. So let me open this folder, and I'll tell you more about it. And we'll watch a couple videos. So first, I'll just give you a couple looks at, some of the conspiracy stuff. First, we'll just do an overview of the conspiracy, what the theory is that's going around right now about these ticks having some sort of disease in them that makes people allergic to red meat. I think it's called alpha Gale. Archive, Melinda Gates Foundation. alpha gal or alpha gal syndrome, which makes you allergic to red meat, which would be horrible. And it can be spread through ticks. And now Bill Gates, the Vanderbilt program foundation with the Bill and Melinda Gates Foundation has a cure to this alpha gal thing. And this alpha gal is being spread through ticks. And then there's videos of Bill Gates with tick bombs. And then farmers are finding these strange canisters in their farms now. So this from X. It's clipped from Joe Rogan's show, unless it's AI. But it'll just give you an overview of what the conspiracy theory is that's going around.
Nuts.
Yeah,
especially
because of meat, because of Gates.
Well, there's
Bill
boxes
Gates,
people
mad.
are finding. I don't know if this is true because I've seen many reports on it, but I'm just going to say what I saw. That farmers and ranchers are finding boxes of ticks on their property. Now, I don't know if that's fake. I don't know if someone's setting that up to pretend they found these boxes of ticks, but there's videos of these people.
I got to pause it. This thing says genetically engineered Lone Star tick. Enhanced AGS transmission. That's the alpha gal syndrome. CRISPR Cas9 gene editing. Now, I don't know if this is true. Again, I'm just showing you what the conspiracy theory is that's going around. And some of the videos, tick bite, portal of exposure. And then she's looking at a steak and she's sick. It makes you allergic to steak. That's horrible.
People finding boxes of ticks.
Now, what they'll say is they'll probably say they're sterile ticks and that we're planting them out there so we can diminish.
I watched the show that he had this guy on. I didn't watch all of it, so I didn't get to the tick part. But this guy was talking about UFOs and stuff.
Finish the population is what they'll say. But anytime they try to mess with the balance of nature, it never goes right.
Is that what they're saying? This is
No,
where
just get ready.
That's what you
you're
think?
getting it right here.
I don't believe you have a right to go to someone's property and drop off sterile ticks.
No way in hell.
That's crazy either way. But
yeah, this guy's focus is he's in Congress. I can't remember his name, but he's kind of looked at by a lot of Congress as a nut job. He's big on the UFOs, and he's been trying to get the UFO stuff put out there. He doesn't like the name change to UAPs, but he also knows about stuff like this, the ticks.
I have a good friend of mine who got bit by the Lone Star tick and has that alpha gal problem.
Yeah, a guy came out of my house yesterday looking at putting gutters up at our house. And dadgum, he said, and I said, you did what? He goes, yeah, I can't eat any meat produced by a mammal.
Yes.
I was like,
yeah. So my buddy, he had it.
Well, luckily they'll be making you genetically enhanced plastic meat soon. 3D printed meat. Oh yeah, that's a thing.
And my friend,
or the bugs, you can eat the bugs.
And Evan, so he had it for a little while, and then he did a bunch of treatments and got off of it, and then started eating steak again, and he was fine for about a year and a half, and then it came back stronger than ever, and he just can't shake it.
He's been around that long.
Oh yeah, he can only eat eggs. I mean, he's basically eating eggs and vegetables. That's all he's eating. And every time he tries to deviate, he has a horrible reaction. It makes, for people that don't know, it makes your body allergic to red meat.
Right. And who has got genetically made meat now?
Yeah,
Bill Gates.
Bill Gates.
Wow. Okay, just a little, little video. And here's let's see what this guy's talking about.
My question I ask you.
And I don't know that this is real. I'm just showing you what the theory is first. And then we'll look into it. We'll dig deeper, find out what this alpha gal syndrome is, read some debunks. When you type this into Google, Bill Gates tick bombs, all you get is fact check, not true, definitely not true. This is all a big lie. But just like I don't trust that this guy, random guy making this video on Twitter, or that Joe Rogan is an expert and knows their stuff, and I believe they could be wrong, or this could be fake. I also don't trust Snopes and factcheck.org and these think tanks, these Silicon Valley think tanks that tell me what's true and what's false. I don't trust them either. You just have to have discernment and pay attention.
Is what fucking surface? What purpose do ticks have? Look at my face and my neck. I can't eat red meat anymore. I can't have any animal byproducts in anything. And it's in everything. This is alpha gal syndrome. This is fucked up, man. Fuck ticks. I love to go hiking. This is fucking crazy.
I don't know. But then look at this. From Gist. Look at this. So, okay, so you start going down the rabbit hole. You say, okay, this is the conspiracy that these ticks, these genetically enhanced ticks that carry this Lone Star tick carries this alpha-gal syndrome. Bill Gates makes synthetic meat. Bill Gates allegedly might have a vaccine. The vaccine trap. Bill and Melinda Gates, it ties to the Vanderbilt Society. We'll get into all that. But one of the first things you're going to see is this website, Grist. Climate change is driving a tick boom. Maha, Make America Healthy Again, is blaming Bill Gates. Oh, it's climate change. That's why we're having this strange tick disease that makes it so you can't eat red meat. Of course it's climate change. Duh. God, silly me. I thought it was Bill Gates doing something nefarious. Of course it's climate change. Tell you what, Drew McKeel told his Instagram followers in April, I'm sick of finding dead moose. He zoomed in on a dead bull moose lying prone on the ground, running the camera over clusters of ticks nestled within every crevice of the corpse. Marciel is a shed hunter, meaning he collects antlers that have been naturally shed by wildlife. But winter tick feeding frenzy in Maine, driven by rising temperatures, where the commies are taking over. Driven by rising temperatures means that this year he kept finding dead animals. Up to 90% of the moose calves tracked by scientists in recent years have been bled to death by ticks, an ongoing crisis in a state that prizes these largest of all deer species. No, in Maine, no, China is infiltrating Maine and they're doing weird stuff with the pot. They're taking over the pot industry. They're putting weird chemicals in the carts. This is not a coincidence. But where scientists see the hand of climate change at work, average temperatures in Maine have risen 3 degrees Fahrenheit since 1985. Others see the designs of a global cabal. Human-engineered biological warfare, read a comment on Marciel's video posted by Dries van Legenhove, a far-right former member of the Belgian government, who was recently convicted of violating the country's Holocaust denial laws. Okay, there's a little well poisoning. You got to poison the well of this guy a little bit. The comment got 32,000 likes. It's Bill Gates, someone else posted. These posts are part of a wave of tick-related conspiracy theories garnering millions of views online. In April, and these are the ones that, this is like a real conspiracy theory. Not flat earth, not dinosaurs are fake. Those are conspiracies to make you look like a crazy person. So then when you start talking about something like this, they say, yeah, but you believe in flat earth. Why would I listen to you on anything? You're just a crazy conspiracy theorist. Something is happening with ticks right now, and farmers are starting to talk. She posted, and I'm going to trust the farmers more than I'm going to trust the person who tells me it's climate change. Sorry. 10 million views across Facebook, Instagram, and TikTok. The Maha Moms Coalition, a nationwide group inspired by the Trump administration's Make America Healthy Again agenda, reposted the claim asking affected farmers to come forward. Theory dates back to 2023 with viral claims that Pfizer and Valneva, pharmaceutical companies, developed a vaccine for Lyme disease, were planting boxes of ticks on farms to drum up demand for their product. So this goes back a while. This is not like just started happening yesterday. We're just starting to notice the effects of it. A separate theory that gained traction around the same time linked a British research program to genetically modified cattle ticks, funded in part by Bill and Melinda Gates Foundation. That would be this group, Vanderbilt University. Bill and Melinda Gates Foundation from the Vanderbilt University. Vanderbilt biochemists discover breakthrough evolution resistance compound to combat antibiotic resistance. DNA duplicator small enough to hold in your hand. Gates grant bolsters study of Tdap boosters in pregnant woman. Study finds maternal diet may predict RSV severity. Gates Foundation grants AIDS pediatric nutrition research, attacking malaria. So this group, who is funded by the Bill and Melinda Gates Foundation, has a patent on the vaccine for this stuff. But, well, I mean, that's what the conspiracy alleges. But then when you go to Google, no, a meat allergy caused by ticks is not tied to Gates. This Verificat, which is like a fact-checking group, the false conspiracy theory about ticks. There are currently no vaccines available to treat or prevent alpha-gal syndrome. The Bill and Melinda Gates Vanderbilt alpha-gal vaccine is a debunked conspiracy theory claiming the Gates funded genetically engineered ticks to create red meat allergies, which the Associated Press and medical experts have entirely refuted. Have they, though? Have they, though? But then from Des Moines 13, in May 2026, a tick capable of making its victims allergic to meat and dairy, among other items, and spreading a virus that has no known cure may be reaching new areas. The Lone Star tick has primarily been found in the South, but in recent years, the species has been pushing northward. Latest data from the CDC shows the tick has been confirmed in more than 30 states. And they're saying that this is because, so this is happening. These ticks are spreading. They do bite you and give you this alpha-gal. This is true. This is what we know is true. Now, we don't know that it's climate change. We don't know that it's Bill Gates actually dropping tick bombs or tick boxes. Those are theories. Just like the climate change is a theory, the Bill Gates is a theory. But it seems debunked that this Vanderbilt company is tied in with them. Let's watch a video and see what they say in the video.
A Republican congressman from New Jersey wants the Pentagon to reveal whether it experimented on ticks.
I have 3 videos. They go from 6 years ago. This is 6 years ago. Then I have one from 8 months ago. Then I have one from a couple days ago. So we have a full timeline here of how this has been progressing.
With the goal of turning them into weapons, and whether this led to the spread of Lyme disease in the U.S. Fox News national correspondent Jennifer Griffin has more.
Borrelia burgdorferi, known to millions as Lyme disease, infects more than 300,000 Americans.
Now remember, this is 6 years ago.
A year. It is spread by infected deer ticks. Not treated, it could lead to neurological damage. Now lawmakers want to know, where did infected ticks come from, and is the Pentagon to blame? Congressman Chris Smith points to a secret Army bioweapons program to weaponize ticks in the 1950s.
Bioweapons specialists stuffed ticks with pathogens to cause severe disability, disease, even death to potential enemies.
Army labs like Plum Island and Fort Detrick, not far from the largest concentration of Lyme cases, were capable of breeding millions of bugs a month. The link was first outlined by Stanford's Chris Newby, who wrote about it in Bitten, The Secret History of Lyme Disease and Biological Weapons. She interviewed William Bergdorfer, who worked for the U.S. military in the 50s growing microbes inside ticks.
They experimented on ticks that could live in cold climates for campaigns against the Russians.
Bergdorfer, for whom Lyme disease was named in 1982, suffered from late-stage Parkinson's. He hinted before he died that the outbreak may have been a bioweapons experiment.
I wondered why somebody didn't do something. Then I realized that I am somebody.
Run amok.
The concern now is that there might have been accidental leaks and exposures, releases.
Smith sponsored an amendment to the Defense Authorization Act that would require the Pentagon's Inspector General to
What a horrible what a horrible curse or disease to not be able to eat red meat. You basically become a beta. It's the beta disease. Beta!
investigate. Newby has been accused by some scientists like Michael Osterholm of concocting a conspiracy theory. Quote, there's just no credible evidence.
I interviewed one person who worked indirectly for the CIA, and he claims he dropped poison ticks on Cuban sugar workers in 1962 as part of the effort against Castro.
Her critics say Bergdorfer may have been confused by his Parkinson's disease.
He felt really guilty about what he did. I believe that what he was trying to say is you know, something bad happened here and I want it out before I die.
The House amendment will die unless the Senate votes to keep it in the 2020 Defense Authorization Bill, which would force the Pentagon to investigate whether these weaponized ticks ever got loose. At the Pentagon, Jennifer Griffin, Fox News.
So 6 years ago.
First documented.
Now let's jump up to 6 months ago. Now it's not Lyme disease anymore. Now it's this alpha-gal syndrome, which we'll read a little bit here after the videos before we wrap up. Actually, I'll read a bit of this now before we go to the video. Alpha-gal syndrome, AGS, also known as alpha-gal allergy or mammalian meat allergy, MMA. It sound more like gay, is an acquired allergy to the epitome of the carbohydrate molecule galactose alpha-1 3-galactose alpha-gal. Reactions can be life-threatening and typically either begin rapidly after exposure from intravenous therapy or 2 to 8 hours after ingesting foods and medicines. Reactions can also occur from skin contact and environmental exposures. AGS results from tick bites and possibly bites from other parasites. Alpha-gal is present in all foods and ingredients made from beef, pork, lamb, venison, rabbit, and other mammal sources, including gelatin and milk. Certain seaweeds also contain alpha-gal. Alpha-gal is found worldwide among the inactive ingredients and materials of medications and healthcare products and is generally not required to be labeled. Great. So now if you get this disease, you're going to end up dying because sometimes this alpha-gal is going to be in foods and it's not even going to be on the label. Awesome. Is this the next COVID? Materials and medication generally not required to be labeled. Reactions have been reported from breathing cooking fumes containing alpha-gal molecules and contact with health and personal care products. AGS patients may have a reaction near farm animals, and shoveling manure or other chores may require gloves or a respirator. So if a farmer gets it, he's screwed. He can't be a farmer anymore. What is this? The strong men destroyer? I mean, once they demoralize you, they make everybody dumbed down and demoralized and degenerates by pushing drugs and alcohol and sex work and not getting married and materialism and all these ideas on people. What's the next step to weaken your society? Well, let's have the men not eat meat and let's have all the farmers die off. That'll do it. That'll get them. Crazy. Signs and symptoms. Reactions have been documented from intravenous medication, foods and medicine, skin contact, and environmental exposures. Allergic symptoms vary greatly between individuals and could include rash, hives, nausea or vomiting, difficulty breathing, drop in blood pressure, dizziness or faintness, diarrhea, severe stomach pain, anaphylactic, heart attack, or death. I mean, a lot of that sounds just like my normal day. So this is the alpha-gal syndrome that is coming from these ticks. Now let's watch this news report from ABC, Good Morning America, from 6 months ago.
Death from a meat allergy triggered by tick bites. It took a year for his family to learn that it was caused by alpha-gal syndrome. Joining us now to explain more is neurologist Dr. Leah Kroll. Doctor, welcome. It's always great to have you. We appreciate it. So what exactly is alpha-gal syndrome? I think a lot of people don't even understand what that is. And how could this, from tick bites, trigger a meat allergy?
Yeah, this is a fascinating one, you guys. So alpha-gal syndrome is an acquired red meat allergy that's triggered by a tick bite from the Lone Star tick. Essentially, mammals, except for humans, make this specific sugar called alpha-gal. And when the tick bites you, it injects that sugar into your bloodstream. The body senses an intruder, builds up antibodies. And so the next time you're exposed to the sugar through eating meat, you're primed to have this allergic response.
Okay, so that explains then why symptoms often appear just hours after eating red meat. So what warning signs should people look out for?
Yeah, typically it's going to take 2 to 6 hours after eating the red meat.
That's pretty quick.
Yeah, because basically alpha-gal is fat soluble. It gets digested, and then once it hits the bloodstream, that's when the reaction starts happening. You can get things ranging from hives, rash, stomach cramping.
Signs of anaphylaxis. So can you go into anaphylactic shock?
In pain, nausea, vomiting, all the way to difficulty breathing and anaphylaxis. That's that life-threatening allergic reaction. Often people with this will
But if you just keep eating meat after you go through it a couple times, will you get over it?
say they're woken up in the middle of the night.
I think that happens with allergies a lot. I know it happened to me.
With heavy stomach pains after eating red meat.
Oh, that's scary. Okay, so Dr. Leah, you
Yeah,
were
it's
talking
scary.
about the Lone Star tick, and we know
You telling me I can't have no steak? Yeah, that's scary. I don't like that.
that range, the tick's range is expanding. So what can people do to prevent a tick bite?
So prevention is
Don't
the
go
best
outside.
defense here. That means if you're going to
Don't be a farmer. Don't go hiking. Don't go hunting. Don't go camping. Don't go fishing. Don't do any outdoor activities. Stay inside. Stay on the computer. Wear your mask. Never go outside. Eat the bugs, and you'll be fine.
be outdoors, you're going for a hike, you're doing yard work, covering up, long sleeves, long pants, bonus points if you tuck your pants into the socks.
No sunlight. You're going to look like a nerd every time you go outside.
Use tick repellents like bug spray with DEET or permethrin treated clothing. Always remember that the sooner you take the tick off, the better. So as soon as you're back indoors, do a full body tick check, looking everywhere, behind the knees, the scalp, under the arms. The sooner you remove the tick, the less likely you are to get a tick-transmitted disease.
We lived in wooded areas when I was young. There was always a tick check when we
Always a
came
tick
back
check.
inside, just to make sure as you're kind of taking off your clothes, you never know where the ticks could be.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
It's tough seeing the video with the close-up of the tick.
Yes.
Not good. All right.
Dude, I've camped, hiked, slept in the dirt, never done a tick check before.
Dr. Leah Kroll, thank you so much.
Okay, and then the last video. Well, first let's do, just so I can be, you know, for YouTube's sake, I can be, I can say I'm being fair. Let's read a debunk to see. We already read the one debunk saying it's climate change. Let's read what Verificat is saying. The false conspiracy theory about ticks genetically modified to make us allergic to red meat. A TikTok video with over 2 million views has recently gone viral, claiming that Bill Gates has financed the genetic modification of a tick whose bite will make us allergic to red meat. This claim is false. Dude, I think I covered this. Like in 2024. I might have read this article on the show before already. I think Stubborn One told me about this like 2 years ago, and we already talked about this. But whatever. We're doing another update on it. This claim is false. No evidence exists to support the claim that the American magnate has financed any project to introduce said genetic modification in ticks. There are various species of ticks that naturally cause an allergy to red meat, not only in the United States, but also in Australia, Asia, and Europe. This fact has been well documented in scientific research since 2009, following the UN's recommendation to curb the consumption of red meat in order to reduce CO2 emissions. Interesting. Various conspiracy theories have emerged claiming that eating it is prohibited. So they start talking about the ticks, and then the U.S. recommendation is don't eat as much red meat because of the farts from the cows. Cow farts and people eating red meat is leading to climate change. Climate change equals more ticks. So the reason that there's Lone Star ticks that bite you and give you meat allergies, it's your fault because you're eating too many cows, which are making climate change, which is making the ticks. So you deserve to get the alpha gal because you shouldn't have been eating so much red meat and making so much CO2 emissions. It's our fault. We deserve the tick invasion because we did too much climate changing. All right, last video. This is 17 minutes. I don't have time to watch all of this, but this is from 8 days ago. So I'm not going to have time to watch all of it. I got to go soon.
YouTube can throttle us. They can suppress us, but they can't stop a text message.
Good evening and welcome. We've got reports pouring in from Arizona, Ohio, and across farm country that show a sudden explosion in tick bites and emergency room visits. People who've worked outdoors for decades are pulling ticks off livestock in numbers they've never seen. At the same time, Joe Rogan and Congressman Tim Burchett are openly asking why Bill Gates keeps coming up in the conversation. The pattern is unmistakable, and the question everyone is asking is simple. Are we watching a natural problem or something far more deliberate?
Yep.
See, this is hitting American families right where it hurts. Ranchers and hunters who feed their kids real food.
Yeah, they want us to eat less meat. Do less climate change. Be more controllable. Stay in the pods. Eat the bugs. Don't ask questions. Stare at the screen. Put on the goggles. Get you a coffin apartment. Put the headset on. You got a robot AI girlfriend. Eventually we'll be able to, you can have sex with a tube in your pod, and it'll collect your semen and make a baby in a capsule somewhere so that we can keep the human race going on. And then some of the babies we can use as batteries for the AI robots.
Food now face life-changing allergies. Alpha-gal syndrome turns steak, burgers, and bacon into medical emergencies. Communities built on cattle, horses, and outdoor life are watching their way of life threatened. And politically, it feeds straight into the same elite playbook we've seen before: create a crisis around what people eat, then offer the so-called solution of lab-grown meat and new vaccines. And the same names keep appearing in funding records and bioethics papers. Trust in the system collapses even faster. Americans, already tired of being told what to consume, deserve the truth before this spreads any further.
Damn. I don't know. We're going to keep watching this, but you guys are going to have to make up your mind yourself. Do you believe the fact checkers, or do you believe the crazy conspiracy theorists?
Now, before we go deeper into what this means for food sovereignty, here's a quick national security update on critical minerals. This on Saga Metals. They're trading in the United States as SAGMF, and in the U.S. 6 months announced that millions of Americans questioning who really controls our food supply. See, while Americans focus on these tick reports, a peer-reviewed paper published last year openly argues that genetically engineering ticks to spread alpha-gal syndrome is morally obligatory. The authors call it a moral bioenhancer. Now, this is no longer fringe speculation. It's
a moral bioenhancer. See, they want us to be allergic to meat. They want us to eat the vegetables and eat the bugs. Stop eating meat because all these cow farts are making climate change. And it's all bullshit. It's all just a way to control us and weaken us and dumb us down and demoralize us and let them easily conquer the world. It's not really about climate change. That's just what they do to make it a moral obligation. You're morally obligated to stop eating meat. And since you won't do it yourself, we're gonna spread some tick virus that makes you allergic to meat. That's crazy.
Sitting in an American journal, and it lines up exactly with the funding trails that we have just discussed. Phoenix, Arizona is reporting an uptick in tick bites and emergency room visits.
Pun intended.
Now making the local news.
McDonald's is Soylent Green.
There's been an uptick in emergency room visits for ticks, and actually, this is actually tick removal. And one of the things that we've learned at the National Pest Management Association, we surveyed Americans and found that only 31% of Americans actually know how to properly remove a tick. So I think this is sending people to the emergency room.
Okay, so tell us, how do you properly remove a tick?
Yeah, well, there are lots of home remedies for how to remove a tick, but the best way to do it is just simply with a set of tweezers to get a hold of that tick right at its head, and then slowly but steadily pull. Don't yank it, don't twist it. You don't want to break any part of that tick off inside your skin. Believe me, when you're pulling on a tick slowly and steadily, it will let go, and you'll be able to remove that thing from your skin. And it's important to remove ticks as soon as possible. It often takes time for ticks to be able to transmit disease, and that's the real concern when it comes to ticks on people.
So that's the local report out of Phoenix. And now we have this, that Arizona is seeing a spike in tick-related ER visits, and the vaccine push is already rolling out. But a horse breeder in Ohio says the problem has exploded in her state as well. This woman who's raised horses for 30 years says the ticks are out of control. Coincidentally, Pfizer and Valneva announced Lyme disease vaccine in phase 3 Valor trial. MJ Truth Ultra says cause the problem, profit off the solution. Check out this testimony.
Kid you not, we've had to spend like over $100 in the last 5 minutes because I can't take the tick situation anymore. The tick situation in the state, there are ticks everywhere. In 30 years, 20 some years of having horses, I've never had to deal with these many ticks. I'm pulling off ticks of his body, cleaning him up. I did that the last few days. Today I just had to put more medication on him. Poor thing, he's got like meds everywhere. Look at that poor thing. Oh my God. I'm sorry, buddy. I know. We're going to go outside.
So there you have one horse owner, an Ohio rancher, dealing with ticks like never before after.
But that doesn't really prove anything to me. I didn't actually see a tick on the horse. I just hear some lady making a TikTok that she knows is going to go viral. She's just as incentivized to lie for a viral clip and a payday as Bill Gates is, motivated to lie.
3 decades on the job. Now the reports show genetically modified ticks spreading alpha-gal syndrome and destroying the ability to eat real meat. Dr. Dawn Michael. The tick pandemic has started in the United States after Bill Gates genetically modified mosquitoes. Now genetically engineered ticks are being released into the wild. They're attaching to animals in all 50 states and attacking almost every creature in nature. Because of alpha-gal syndrome, people can no longer eat red meat. Remember what Gates said in 2021? We plan to reduce red meat consumption to 0 by 2030. Coincidence? You decide. Take a look.
Agenda 2030. We're getting close to 2030, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls. We need to do a recap on Agenda 2030. That was one of the first shows I ever did. And it's been about 4 years since I did that show. And we're getting closer to 2030.
Look at some of this footage.
This might be the most ticks I've ever seen on any animal ever. That is insane.
Crazy.
Look at the size of them. They're enormous. Huge ticks on this girl. But we just got this python out of the Everglades, and she was sitting on a clutch of eggs. Got them too, and you can see she popped this egg right away. You can see the embryo in there is starting to look like a snake. It's got scales developed, so these weren't too far off from hatching. So we got her out just in the nick of time.
Oh my goodness.
Those are
so
huge
alpha-gal
ticks.
cases are surging because these ticks are being engineered to target red meat consumption. Joe Rogan and Congressman Tim Burchett just named the man behind it. They discuss how Bill Gates is behind the ticks biting people and making them permanently intolerant of meat. What the hell is going on here? Okay, ready? Here we go.
I already watched this.
Well, it seems like there's a real pandemic right now on this cruise ship. You know about that? Because they say what Fox is the Pyrex.
I already watched this.
He makes
How Gates is connected to the tick surge, and videos are now surfacing of metal boxes full of these ticks being dropped on farms and woods. Valerie Ann Smith posted this. Bill Gates bioengineered ticks in the alpha-gal trap. Bioengineered Lone Star ticks and metal tick boxes are being dropped across farms and woods. They swarm animals and humans. Result, hundreds of thousands of Americans now have alpha-gal syndrome, a permanent deadly allergy to real red meat. No more steak, burgers, or bacon. Not a coincidence. Gates funded tick research. Now Pfizer rolls out a new Lyme disease vaccine right as cases explode. Create the crisis. No real meat possible. Sell the solution. His lab-grown Franken meat. Wake up. This is engineered. Protect our food and expose the agenda.
Is this one of the boxes?
Top plot. And I saw this little guy. I don't know if he's alive or he's got ticks all over his head and eyes. I mean, look at that. On his ears. Oh my gosh. I don't know what to do. I'm out here mushroom hunting and I found, there it is right there.
There, this is the video I
tick
saw.
box. I'm not going to touch it because there's ticks all over that thing. I know there is. Look at them crawling out of it. Millions of them.
There are 450,000 Americans with alpha-gal syndrome from these bioengineered ticks from this fucking psychopath right here. And they can no longer eat red meat for their entire lives. And this is not normal, guys. It's not normal for these massive moose to be covered in tens of thousands of ticks, literally killing them in Canada, or snakes covered in hundreds of ticks in Australia being killed once again. All this is happening right before they're coming out with a new Lyme disease vaccine. It's just the 101 of their playbook, guys. Engineer the problem and then the solution.
That's crazy. Yeah, I don't know. I don't know what's going on in the world. That would be horrible not to be able to eat red meat. I'm not eating the bugs, guys. I'm not eating the 3D printed cardboard plastic meat. It's not going to happen to me, all right? If I get this alpha-gal allergy when I go camping, if I get tickified and I get some alpha-gal allergy, I'm just gonna keep eating red meat. I'll get immune. I'll suffer through it. Maybe go into anaphylactic shock once or twice, but eventually I'll push through it and I'll overcome that allergy because I ain't stopping eating red meat just because of some damn tick and some Bill Gates crazy rich billionaire guy wants to wipe out 70% of the population of the earth. Anyway, that's it for the show, guys. I gotta head out. I gotta get ready for work and stuff. It's been a great show, you know. Guess I'll send you over to is Teriak doing his dumb National Socialism debate, making MAGA look like a bunch of idiots. You need to cut that out, Teriak. You're dog whistling and it looks dumb. It's a dumb argument. It's a dumb stance. And it makes us look like a bunch of dog whistling morons. Stop it. Tell him I said that. Anyway. Go watch that. If I can find it, there it is. But God bless you guys. The world's a crazy place. I just report on it. We got tick boxes. We got tick boxes in the woods. We got alpha gal, red meat allergies. World is a crazy place. I just report on it. It's been the Dreaded Conservative Show, Monday night, kicking the week off right. If you like it, tell a friend. If you hate it, tell everybody. Make sure you guys hit the like button on the way out. And for the mornings throughout this week, I might just do one morning of Bible study. I'm gonna kind of slow down on doing the Bible studies all the time. Maybe like one morning a week I'll read the Bible, but in the mornings this week I got to be doing debate prep. So we're going to be doing a lot of Ukraine. I got to cram over the next week for the Ukraine debate. So that's the plan this week. And then sometime either tomorrow night or the night after, we're going to do a final chair stream, a chair well stream, saying goodbye to the old chair, out with the old, in with the new. Chair reacts to chairs stream. So that's the plan. And we're prepping for a debate next Tuesday. So a week and a day from now against Dylan Burns about Ukraine. So a lot of stuff coming up. That's the plan, guys. God bless you. Thank you for hanging out. Go put some chairs in Easy's chat.